Chambord construction began in 1519 and was completed in 1547. There was 1,800 workers that worked on the building of Chateau de Chambord over the years. The architect for the building is said to be Domenico de Cortana, an Italian architect who worked with and used influences from Leonardo da Vinci, who passed shortly after the construction began. The custom 16th century rooms were only furnished for the duration of the visits of the kings. After the death of Francis I in 1574, the castle was practically unused for about 50 years and was at risk for being demolished after the French Revolution ended. In 1793, furnishings in the house were dispersed, and in 1947 the state began restorations for the chateau. As mentioned previously, the chateau is located in the Loire Valley, south of Paris, the capital. It is a rural area in France. The Chambord building is considered to be classified as a palace, with a construction system of bearing masonry. This palace has extensive gardens and water features, bastion, corner towers, and a moat. The walls, towers, and moat around Chambord are decorative and not meant to defend the palace at all. The style of the palace is majorly French Renaissance, but is blended with many other styles. The layout, square keep, corner towers, and the moat suggest medieval. The symmetrical floor plan stems from the Renaissance. Flat plasters and a courtyard with low wings is classical, and the shell motifs and marble panels are Italian Renaissance inspired. The Chateau de Chambord is shaped in a Greek cross with 4 towers and 2 wings surrounded by stables. The chateau has 4 floors with extremely high ceilings that they once decided to lower in the 18th century due to heating problems. When you enter the chateau, you will find information on the chateau's construction. You will also find service rooms on the ground floor, which are still holding their purpose as ticket offices, souvenir shops, toilets, a police office, and a restaurant. Next, you will see a beautiful double spiral staircase, which was most likely inspired by Leonardo da Vinci. This staircase allows people to go up and down without passing one another. This still holds true to be a great masterpiece of the French Renaissance. Moving on through the ground floor, you will see a coach room in the royal wing. It has horse-drawn carriages built for the Comte of Chambord. The Comte refused the French crown offered to him in 1871, and as a result, the carriages were never used. The ground floor also has a furnished reception room, and it is the only level accessible by wheelchair users, and they are admitted for free. Moving up a flight to the first floor, you will see interesting furnished rooms. Some rooms were changed during the 18th century. Large rooms were subdivided, and like I said earlier, the ceilings were lowered to make heating easier. There were also Saxon tiled heaters. Unfortunately, it was still unpleasant to live in the chateau during the winter due to the weather. The first floor houses the chapel and the royal chambers, which are located on opposite sides of the main keep. The chapel is the largest room in the chateau. There are 4 rooms in the main keep that are open to the public. The State Apartment, which was created to conform with royal etiquette during the reign of Louis XIV, the Queen's Apartment, and the 18th century apartments. Also, you will find the Comte de Chambord Museum on the first floor. Moving up to the second floor, there are fewer rooms open to the public. However, there are temporary exhibitions of modern art. You will see hunting displays and wildlife-related items such as guns, pictures, tapestries, and hunting trophies. Now, I'm going to give you a little information about the gardens of the Chateau de Chambord. First, the English Garden. For nearly 40 years, the management of areas surrounding the chateau worked to do away with the last remains of the garden planted there in the second half of the 19th century. The only knowledge we have of this English garden comes from plans, inventories, and photographic documentation. However, a decision was made to restore the garden planted on the ruins of Louis XIV's wooden stables. This project was necessary to restore the landscape and atmosphere and provide a better welcome to the public with paths constructed to the chateau. This was achieved in 2014. Now to talk about the French gardens. Like the English garden, the last remains of plantings found on the ground since the 18th century disappeared within the last 40 years, leaving the chateau surrounded by a simple lawn. The original plan of Chambord was to create a garden benefiting the chateau. Once the building was complete, Louis XIV ordered planted plants to be installed to the north and east of the chateau. This was carried out by Louis XV. Shrub-lined walks and alternating trees and fruit trees made up the layout, as we have determined based on maps and old texts.